am so inspired after I hosted a webinar called Lead the Future. And I was not only inspired because I get to share what I have accumulated of insight into the leadership of the future by hosting leadership labs for over 20 years, where other people focused on getting good at the old leadership models. I was experimenting with new leadership models, and I, along with many other people, thank goddess. And it's very interesting for me to see now that those new leadership models seem to be much more fit for the times we have entered. And what was very inspiring for me about hosting the webinar was to meet other pioneers of change. They're out there, they're in corporations, they work as entrepreneurs, some of them have exited corporates because it was too tedious to try to change corporations from within, but they are out there and there are more and more of them. And my message here is for you who still believe in the old leadership model. I have to tell you, it's the wrong track. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because we have left the era where that track worked. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody to blame. It's actually good news for all of us because the new leadership model allows us to use many more of our human resources. It allows us to awaken our dormant resources. It allows us to get less stressed and create results by working higher, not harder. So it's good news for all of us. And for sure, you will create better results. And the reason why I do this little live is to tell you that that if you continue with the old leadership model, I am not sure you're going to make it in the new era. And that's not only me saying that, it's look around. And we have already seen a lot of companies who insisted on the old leadership model who didn't catch the wave of change in time and therefore drowned in the newness coming about. New generations, new ways of doing things, new situation, new circumstances, new technologies, new ways of working, new ways of activating teamwork, collective intelligence. There's so many new things, and no wonder leaders have a hard time keeping up with it, because for me, it's a full-time job, to be honest with you. I write books about it and I do leadership trainings. And for me, it's a lot of work to keep up with all the changes. So I understand that for you, it's also very challenging to keep up. But I'd still like to say to you that we are entering times, or we are in the middle of times of deep transformation, and it's really up to us and the choices we make every single day in ourselves and in our strategies and in our cultures. It's up to us to choose wisely and to stop and reflect and make sure that we are acting in alignment with where we want to head. Because if we don't do that, we end up where we are heading, and that's towards global destruction, or at least destruction of humanity, or hard times for all of us. So my invitation, or the reason why I chose to go live here, was to invite you to stop and take the time to get interested in future-proof leadership. What is that? I'm one of the ones offering it, but there are many others. There's so many names for the new leadership: regenerative leadership, conscious leadership, 21st century leadership, servant leadership. There are many names for the new leadership, but the point is, get interested in a new kind of leadership, because the old leadership models, as I said, will just keep us in the past, and it will just make us crumble. So it's just not a good idea. And again, it can sound like, okay, here's like this lady from Denmark talking doomsday. And actually, I took this background because I wanted to give you a message of hope. Because yeah, when we look around, war and inflation and so many problems in the world, yes, it can look dark, but I'm actually here with a message of hope and saying, if we take leadership in a new way, we can turn this downward spiral into an upgoing spiral, and it can be a new dawn for humanity. It can be like the golden era for humanity. And now I sound a little bit like Trump, but I don't mean it in the same way as he does. I'm sure that because I'm talking about if we shift our leadership operating system, the inner operating system, we are bound to get to a new place. And what we need to understand is that we are not separate. We are not each other's competitors. We are not each other's enemies. We are all cells in the same body of humanity. And when we get that and start acting in alignment with that, and that we are all also intrinsic parts of nature. And so what we do when we destroy nature, we destroy ourselves. When we really get that, we start making different decisions. And those decisions will lead us to a new place, which could be the golden era for humanity, because we have it all in us. We just need to awaken to it. We need to use it and awaken to it and start using it in our lives. And it's fascinating to see what happens when we do, how much that changes, just in the small and in the big, inside of ourselves, in our ability to stay stable and be anchored in turbulent times of change, but also in our ability to be lighthouses for each other, help each other, support each other. When one is low, the other is up and can support. When we lose our focus, someone else can help us keep that focus, help our dreams come true. We all need help. Let's face that. The era of the lonely wolf is over. You cannot do this alone. I couldn't do it alone. I can't do it alone. You cannot either. We need each other's help. And thankfully, we are so many. We are so many that can help each other. So that's not really the problem. The problem is the inner operating system that hinders us in asking for help, receiving help, looking up the help, getting the help, sponsoring the help. So if you are a top executive listening to this by chance, if you had like five seconds where you're not, into doing something, if you had like 5 minutes of being, I would say you have a huge responsibility, as you probably know, but it's bigger than you thought. Because you, if you don't change your inner operating system, you will actually hold your organization back. Because a leader can only take his or her organization to the level of consciousness where he or she is at. So you have a big responsibility to get interested in the new future-proof leadership and really immersing yourself in the new leadership concepts, which is like a whole paradigm shift. And it takes time to understand. And I'm one of the ones who's offering programs where you can learn that, but do something. Because if you keep going in the old way, you might be too busy to change something, but that business will kill the future of your business. Sorry to say, but it's just evolution that's happening, and we need to adapt to evolution. And if you're one of the people who can see or who can sense like a need for something new, and it's just something that is itching you, like you're looking for more meaning, you're looking for more purpose, you are looking to do something differently, you can just sense that something is dying, your old identity is dying, and something new is calling. Well, good for you, because that's your essence calling. That's your true self calling, and it's knocking on your door to make you go in a new direction. And for you, there's also leadership programs. I'm offering some, but there's plenty out there. So you can just find the one that resonates with you and start on your hero or heroine's journey towards a new version of yourself that act much more in alignment with the evolutionary impulse and thus get on future-proof track. And if you're one of the ones where nobody invests in you, you are too low a level, you're too young, you're too this or that, or too old for anybody to invest in your leadership training, there's also options for you. I'm offering a leadership training on this level. It's online and it's affordable for everyone, but or for most. It's difficult to say everyone on this planet. It's not affordable for everyone, but if you can afford it, you can make a difference for a lot of those people who can't. So, but the thing is that there are also many, many programs out there, and coaches and mentors and groups and free groups and lots of stuff for you. And the point is, if you feel that urge to take leadership, you are very important for evolution. You could be the one making the final difference between, is it the light or the darkness that's going to win? So take that seriously, that urge to do something differently, to change something, to immerse yourself in a learning environment where you grow. So, and I will take the chance to also recommend my dear colleague Laura Storm with her regenerators community, which is just an amazing place with people full of change makers like yourself. So there are many environments where you can get nourishment, help, support, inspiration, transformation. And the point is, if you feel the urge to change something, go for it, because that's the evolutionary impulse calling in you, and you can help your family, your community, your workplace understanding. And I would say to all the people who are in the lower tiers of the pyramid organization, speak up, have the courage to speak up and ask for transformation. Ask your company to sponsor you, to help you grow, because the consequence, if they don't, you might leave. Lots and lots of people are leaving corporations who don't get it, who are stuck too long in the old paradigms. And I don't mean to make anybody wrong, because, you know, as a company owner, I know how challenging it is to keep up with times, to get, you know, oh my God, it's like a big work. It's like being the conductor of an orchestra, and it's like directing a huge symphony. So I understand. It's not that I want to make anybody wrong, but I think what could go wrong is if we don't look up and look inwards and reflect and stop on our tracks and really find out, you know, am I on track to the kind of future I'd like to experience for myself, my children, and my grandchildren, or should I just alter the course 1%? And I don't think it's responsible of a leader to not do that. Because if you just do and decide, you're not deciding from wisdom. You're deciding from the mind. The mind is a very small, obsolete operating system. It's definitely not enough to bring us safely into the future. So even if it sounds very foreign what I'm saying, you know, get interested, you know, join a webinar or get interested, start, you know, being curious, be open and curious. That's a very good start. And listen to the voice within that is talking about the need for change, because that's the evolutionary impulse speaking to you and inviting you to change something. And actually, that's hope speaking. That's the light speaking. That's the light behind the darkness. That's like saying, hey, I'm also here. Listen to me and take that track towards the light, because that will bring you to a bright future. And staying in the old, being too busy to look up, being too busy to do something different, being too suspicious of anything that's different, not a good idea. You know, in the you know, the yin yang sign, you know, there's in the dark there's a dot of light, of the light, and in the light there's a dot of the dark. So even if you're one of those people who think I'm right, the other people are wrong, or I'm wrong, the other people are right, that's not the final truth. The truth is that we all have, you know, all our diverse opinions count, and we need to listen to each other, because there's some little truth in what everybody's contributing with. They are expressing some part of the truth that's part of the whole truth. So instead of dismissing, you know, you could say about me, oh my God, here she goes again. This is this feminine Nordic leader. You know, she wrote this book called The Future is Feminine, the 27 facets of 21st century leadership. She's been going on about the need to extend our feminine wings, so we have two wings. She's been going on about that for 20 years. And she's also, isn't she a little bit spiritual? Isn't that suspicious? You know, what is the spirituality? What is she believing there in the Christmas Father, or what? You know, you might have preconceptions about me, and you're welcome to have that. But listen a little bit. Be curious, be open, because it's not as square and as limited as you might think. Let's take the example of spirituality. Okay, what's wrong with spirituality? Well, you might confuse it with religion or with obsession, with fundamentalism. But spiritual intelligence is an intelligence that all of us have. It's like the new brain. It's like our ability to think in terms of the whole picture. What's wrong with that? That's actually an ability we really need now. And the feminine. Okay, let's take the feminine. What's wrong with the feminine? Oh, well, it makes us weak, and you know, we have to create results in corporations. Well, can you create results without using your intuition in the era of information overload? Are you able to make sound profound, wise decision without listening to your intuition? And relational intelligence, are you able to make your team thrive, to make your company thrive without using your relational intelligence? I don't really think so. You have to use your heart in order to create an environment where creativity and innovation can thrive. So let's not dismiss things that are a little bit foreign to us, or if we are afraid we don't master them from the beginning. They are all they're all important. All right. So thank you for the ones who showed up here. I so appreciate, and I hope I'll see you at the webinar at 4:00 today. And if you are listening to this way past that, I am hosting webinars on a regular basis. So you can just join my mailing list and on illuminainternationalleadershipacademy.com. illuminainternationalleadershipacademy.com. And you will get a lot of inspiration already there, but you will also get the invitations for my webinars. And you can also go and check my leadership programs, because we're firing up for 25 now. And if you start already now, you will hit the ground running in 25. So we don't start the leadership programs now, but we start the brain training that is part of the leadership programs that I didn't invent. Thank God it's invented by some UK company who's been working with this for 25 years and created amazing results for thousands of people around the world, including all the people who consider themselves neurodiverse. They've really helped them. And we start with this brain training, 10 minutes a day, so that you even enable your ability to unlearn and relearn. Because that's one of the problems. It's difficult for us to unlearn the old so that we can relearn the new. And so that's why I introduced this concept of let's increase our neuroplasticity. Let's start with that, so you're even able to unlearn the old and relearn the new. And then we start learning the new in the new year. But if you join now, you hit the ground running, but you also get a few extra months for free. So how about that? And you might even get a Black November, or what's it called? Black month offer. So if this sounds interesting for you, book a conversation with me so we can find out which program suits for you. I have them at all levels, all price ranges, and act, do something about to future-proof your leadership, because no one else is going to do it for you. And don't stop yourself before you even started. A lot of people say, yeah, my boss will never say yes to this. Well, that's why I created 3 versions. So there is a version that your boss has to say yes to if they are interested in future-proofing the company. And you might even bring your boss. So there are all kinds of ways to introduce the new leadership in your company. And I really urge you to take leadership for doing that sooner rather than later, so that we can get to that horizon of hope instead of staying in the darkness and risking more destruction. All right, I hope to see you there, and have a wonderful day, and thank you for your attention, and thank you for your effort in co-creating a bright future for all.